Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
All right, let's kick off a Monday edition of the Young and Norvelle Show, coming to you inside our beautiful studio, our Action Sports Jack studio. Glad you're with us. We've got Big Ben producing, Terry Norvelle right here. Brent Beard comes up about 5:30, and Patrick Young in the second hour. Patrick, I do believe, is heading out tomorrow for SEC Network duties, but I think he'll be able to visit with us and kind of set the midweek schedule. We'll review what happened this Saturday in the SEC basketball. It is basketball season, guys. Basketball has now moved in to take center stage, and it is going to be fast and furious all the way through that first Monday in April. That is the National Championship Monday night for men's basketball in San Antonio. So everybody in college football is starting to put their sights on the Alamo, baby, trying to get to San Antonio. Man, a lot to get to, including the Jaguars have a brand new general manager. We told you about that on Friday. James Gladstone came over from the Rams organization, and he met the media today, a large contingent. Shad Khan, obviously James Gladstone, the new general manager. Tony Baselli was on hand. I believe Shad Khan's son was on hand. And, it was just what you'd expect, backslapping and a lot of smiles, a lot of glad to be here, things like that. But, Ben, I think we may have a little bit of sound. I really thought it was important just to kind of, even though I don't think players and coaches really ever say much when there's a camera or microphone in front of them, and when they do, it's kind of forced. But I thought it was important just to kind of put a face with a name and a name with a face, and be ready now. When we throw you this soundbite from brand new Jaguars general manager James Gladstone, it is not Doogie Howser. I'm telling you, this is the general manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They all look young. I'm not sure they can get in a bar after a game, which may be a good thing. I don't know if the entire coaching staff will be able to get into a bar post-Jaguar win to have a beer. They are some young bucks. We'll take a look at all their ages and talk about that. But here's a quick bite from brand new Jacksonville Jaguars general manager James Gladstone.
To the Jaguar fan base, I turn to you. With Liam's vision, with a disciplined approach.
I don't hear any sound, Ben. I'm not sure if we have it going out or not. We'll grab that. But that was a look at James. Young buck, man. Young dude, 34. The chronological age is 34. And I'm not saying this new approach is right or wrong. It's different. It really, really is. The entire, really the head coach, the coordinators, the general manager, and I even throw Tony Baselli in it because his chronological age is 52, but he's a rookie, man. He is a front office NFL executive rookie. There is newness, there is youth, and there is a lot of inexperience. We'll see how it plays out. You know my stance on unconventional. When unconventional works, it's called cutting edge. When unconventional doesn't work, it's called, what the hell were you thinking? We'll see. We will see, but just wanted to give you a face. We'll try to get the audio to match up with that video momentarily. But the Jaguars, you knew they got their man on Friday. It was announced, obviously, Gladstone probably caught his breath over the weekend, and the introductory press conference was earlier today. So that's about it, right? I mean, the staff is pretty much in place. The combine has crunk up. I think they're kind of checking in Indianapolis, the players, the teams. It's kind of check-in, interview sessions. I believe they do most of their interviews before they actually step on the field. I think that the athletes that are going to participate will be stepping on the field the next day or two. For the next 3 or 4 days, pretty much the whole week, they'll be working out. They kind of break it down, position group, things like that over the next several days. So we'll hear a lot about the combine, and we'll hear. This is kind of a fun time of year around the NFL combine because there are white lies, kind of lies, I've got my fingers crossed and I'm lying, right? I'm sending out a smoke screen lie. There's a lot of that goes on. It's the gamesmanship of the NFL, the gamesmanship of business 101, if you really think about it. But every year there are a lot of smoke screens sent out and kind of get you off the trail or kind of put you on a false trail. It's always fun. And Ben, I don't know. Ben, have you followed the combine a lot over the years?
Sometimes. I mean, 40-yard dash, really fun. But
Yeah. 40-yard dash is kind of that and the bench press, I guess, are the marquee, right? I mean, I can do without the 3-cone shuttle and things like that. But are you aware, I've followed a lot of them from afar, this is a fun time because there is a lot of, how can I say, Pinocchio, there's a lot of white lies that go on out here. I mean, there's a lot of, if you're a team that likes a player, you might throw a cent to get a couple teams off that guy or on another guy, or you're trying to work it. You might know you want to work a deal with a team, and you kind of want to say, well, damn, we really like this guy, or we hate that. There's a lot of that goes on out there. A lot of gamesmanship out there between organizations.
It's a lot of chess. You always want to make either the player look better or worse. Like I know Larry Tunsil. Remember that? That wasn't really a team doing it, but I mean he dropped down straight to us right when, and then
he had the he was smoking the doobie with the
with the mask. I think that was like his uncle or something. I don't know. It was a weird situation.
And was that like during the combine, days before?
No, it was the draft. It was
the draft. That's what it was.
The draft, yeah. And he fell right into our lap, and he was a great tackle.
Yeah, good player. Good player. Kind of a local kid. He was the Lake City kid, right?
I have no idea where he went.
Lake City, and then he went to Ole Miss.
Yeah, he went there,
Yeah, he was part of that Ole Miss group when Hugh Freeze, way before name, image, and likeness, all of a sudden out of the blue, Hugh Freeze, who I probably would not buy a used car from, but Hugh Freeze got Laquan Treadwell, Robert Kimdichie, the number one player in the country coming out of high school, Laramie Tunsil, the number one tackle. All of a sudden, they all went to Ole Miss out of the blue. They all went to Ole Miss.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Ben Dobbins producing today. Ben, you're a big Dolphin fan. I was asking before the show. Dolphins pick, what do you say, 14th?
13th.
13th.
Yeah.
And you think if you were making the pick, you would go where?
Malachi Starks, because Javon Holland's going to be gone most likely.
Safety?
Safety, yeah, Georgia.
Not the most sexy position, but if you need it, right?
He'll be fun. He'll be high flying,
a good player from Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, he played a lot of high level football at Georgia. You can say the same thing about the Jaguars. The Jaguars at 5, if they stay at 5, they really, 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 really need to pick offensive line. That's not sexy, and that's not going to turn the city on fire, right?
Yeah.
But you need offensive linemen. Ask the Philadelphia Eagles, for God's sakes. Ask Football 101.
Oh, yeah.
Not sexy, and you like that you know what I mean by that? Not sexy.
Yeah. Like a receiver, running back.
Like I remember I described it a couple weeks ago. Do you if you're the Jaguars, do you go big ugly or big sexy? Big sexy is Ashton Genty or one of the receivers or the pretty quarterback.
Yeah.
But big ugly is what the Jaguars need.
Yeah.
They really need big ugly.
Same with the Dolphins, yeah. It's the same boat.
Yeah, and I'll never forget. You were probably too young to remember this. The year Tebow was coming out.
Oh, I remember. I was a huge Gator fan back then.
Yeah.
I loved Tebow.
You remember he came out and, there was a lot of discussion, where would he go and could he play quarterback and blah, blah, blah. And we know how all that, a lot of that stuff played out off the field, and it was a different time. He could probably make it now. Yeah. But, there was talk, my God, the Jaguars, when their pick comes around, do they go Tim Tebow, the All-American, the kid from here? The kid you'll never worry about selling a ticket while he's here. And so there was a lot of talk about that. And I'll never forget. I don't know if you remember that night. And, it was a big story. He went in the 20s to Denver. But, I mean, you knew he was going somewhere in the first round. And you knew somebody was going to take a flyer at him.
Yeah.
And you thought, gosh darn, the local guys may take this guy. And I can't remember, when did the Jaguars pick, like 17 or something?
I don't know exactly,
But they send their pick up, and I guess Goodell was still doing it. I think he was doing the whole first round. With the whatever pick in the first round, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Tyson Alualu. You remember that guy?
No.
Tyson, look him up. Tyson, and I think it's A-L-U. Samoan kind of name. Samoan kid, nice kid, had a very cup of coffee career in the league. But not only was it not Tim Tebow, it was this what you would perceive as, what did they just say? Do you see his name? Tyson Alualu.
Pick 10 in the 2010 draft class.
And from Utah or somewhere, maybe? Can't remember. Pick 10?
California.
Here you are, the city of Jacksonville. Half the city of Jacksonville sitting on their edge of their chair, right? And okay, shh, quiet. Jaguars pick. It's, I don't know, it's 8:15, 8:10, whatever. Quiet. Is it going to be, oh my God, is it going to, Heisman Trophy, two-time national champion, the guy you want your daughter to marry, my God, Mr. Jacksonville, Mr. Tyson Alu. And you can almost hear the entire city going, who? Who did you just draft?
I mean, this draft class was, yeah, there's good names in here that they passed up on.
So
Jason Pierre-Paul, Earl Thomas, Marquise Pouncey.
Oh,
Kareem Jackson was decent.
Even if it was not the great Pouncey boy, my God, that's some good players right there.
Yeah, they passed up on all that.
Well, they got Tyson Alualu for a couple of years.
Was he good at all?
No.
Oh.
No, just a journeyman. Probably stayed in the league 6-7 years and was never.
His last team was Detroit Lions in 2023.
Yeah, and certainly was. Did you say 10th overall?
10th, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely not the 10th best player to take.
No.
In the first round. Tyson Alualu. Jaguars have had a few of those type of drafts. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, so James Gladstone, man, between him and Liam Cohen, and I saw them together on TV a lot today at the introductory press conference. My goodness, they look like Wally and Beaver Cleaver, man. They better carry some fake IDs with them if they want a beer in town.
They look young.
We'll see, man. And I'm fine with that. The NFL, I'm fine with the NFL when it comes to hiring head coaches is in a real young cycle. I mean, they are hiring guys in their 30s, and that's kind of new, right? Guys in their 30s getting but Ben, they're getting their first head coaching job in their 30s. They've never been a head coach before, a lot of these guys. The Jaguars took it to the next level. Head coach, coordinator. I mean, these general manager. All these guys have never been in their current position.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, does he?
Who?
James Gladstone?
I don't know. He's probably not old enough. His parents probably have not signed off to allow him. He's a minor, isn't he?
I don't even know.
You got to be over 21 to have a Wikipedia page, don't you? He doesn't even. Wow.
I didn't see one.
Am I the only guy in the world? I think I'm the only guy in the city because I like to make sure I look at things from. I try to do things from neutrality, and particularly with the Jaguars. I think we've got enough cheerleaders in town, right? With the Jaguars. If I was a true hardcore Jaguar fan, the last thing I want to do is hear from a media guy that all he or she says is Jaguars, sugar and spice, everything nice. Why am I listening to you then, right? Why am I listening to you? So, I don't know. But where I was going with that, Ben, is I'm not saying that this incredible young hired coach and front office group that they put together, I'm not saying that's wrong. It'll be determined.
Yeah.
But I will say this. If the Texans, the Titans, or the Colts, just as examples, if they went out and hired 39, 29, 42, never been a head coach, never been a coordinator, never been a general manager, Jaguar Nation would be howling at the Colts, Texans, or Titans if they did that. What are they doing? That's not going to work, right?
Yeah.
But because it's your team, oh, it's fine. It's going to work. And it may.
Yeah, it might.
And it may.
Never know, obviously.
And it may. And it may. Let me set the rest of the show here as we kick things off here on a Monday. A lot of basketball. It is basketball season. I want to get into the Florida win over LSU. We all thought they were going to win. And the Gators had one period where LSU made everything they threw up. LSU went on like a 22-2 run in the first half. I'm watching the game. LSU is up by about 10 because they went on a 22-2 run. And I never felt threatened. I never thought Florida was not going to win the game. The run was in the first half. Florida came out second half, absolutely businesslike, and took over the game. Solid win over a not real good LSU team, but it was a nice road win, comeback road win. News out of Gainesville should be good. Alex Condon has been cleared to resume game activities. So it looks like if Todd Golden tomorrow chooses to play Alex Condon, he can. He will be available. Condon was dressed this past Saturday in Baton Rouge. He did not get in the game, but that tells you, though, if you dress a guy out, he's going through pregame warm-ups. He's going through shoot-around. He's going through layup drills. He's running around. I thought that was a great, great sign for Florida. Did not play, did Condon, this past Saturday in Baton Rouge, but he was dressed. He has since now officially been cleared. It looks like Condon, I would imagine he'll get a few minutes tomorrow night in Athens. As I want to get into that game as we unfold today's show. Really, tomorrow night in Athens is Georgia's last stand. The Bulldogs really, I thought they might have a chance to surprise Auburn. Auburn kind of held them on the forehead and punched him like a big brother. Tomorrow night in Athens, the game, Florida is at Georgia. The Dogs have 4 games left, counting tomorrow. The other 3 games are against nobody ranked. This is their last chance to get a big win over a ranked team, and Georgia is desperate. If they're going to get in March Madness and not have to win the SEC tournament, which will be a tall, tall task, Georgia's season is on the line tomorrow, probably. Florida comes in. It should be a raucous crowd. If Georgia can keep their team in the game to keep their crowd in the game, it could be interesting. We'll break this down a lot with Patrick Young and Brent Beard as we go. SEC basketball from Saturday, some status quo wins and a couple of big wins and big losses. I want to go down the SEC weekend, including Texas took a bad loss as they are trying to grab probably the last spot out of the SEC. Texas, bad loss to South Carolina. The Gamecocks were 0 for the season in conference play. Vanderbilt had a nice win. Arkansas had a real nice win. We'll talk about what happened this past Saturday. Tonight, college basketball. The ACC plays a lot of their midweek games on Monday. So tonight, and you don't get to say this very often in college basketball, and you haven't got to say this very often since 1992 when FSU joined the ACC. There's a chance tonight in Tallahassee that FSU can go ahead and kick North Carolina basketball to sleep. North Carolina's on the edge trying to get in the tournament. They've had a very, very average year. If Florida State knocks off North Carolina, the Tar Heels may not make the tournament. And you don't get to – Ben, I don't know if you know how that programs work, but you don't get to say we knocked Carolina out of March Madness very often. I mean, they're one of the bluest of blue bloods.
Oh, yeah, I know they're a very powerhouse. I mean, I
historically
just watch the March Madness when it comes, but I know they're a very big powerhouse.
Yeah, they're North Carolina. They go back decade after decade. And if FSU beats North Carolina, that puts a big dent in Carolina sneaking into the field, number one, and I think their coach will get fired. I think Hubert Davis is very much on the firing block right now. It just hasn't worked. Year one, I think he did take them to the Final Four, but that was kind of a fluke, and he took over a team. I just don't think he's the right guy. Florida State, as we know, they are looking for a basketball coach. Leonard Hamilton, it has been announced that he is leaving at the end of the year. This could be kind of his final run final chance at a big win. I do know FSU certainly is going to their conference tournament, but they're going to win a game or two at most and get bumped out, and that'll be it for Leonard Hamilton, long-time college basketball coach. All right, before we go to break, I want to bring something up here, and Ben, you can help me with your memory bank, particularly in the more modern years. But I wanted to bring this up. This date in sports history, way back in 1980. Ben, on this date, there was a game that was contested. It was a hockey game. And my general question is, had this hockey game gone the other way, this might have been the biggest buzzkill sporting event ever. And let me describe it, okay? You've probably heard about and maybe even seen the movie with Kurt Russell, Miracle on Ice, about the 1980 Do You Believe in Miracles, the huge hockey win. United States beat the Soviet Union in the Olympics. I don't know if you've seen the movie. Great, pretty good for a sports movie, which generally sports movies aren't very good. The acting's tough and the action's tough. So one of the great sports moments in our country's history, 1980, the big bad Soviet Union, the best hockey team on the planet. They had been the best hockey team on the planet. They had pro players. Back then, the United States would send non-professionals, right? Basketball and hockey. We didn't send our professionals. Communist countries like Russia, all they had were professionals, so they sent they didn't have amateur leagues and things. The Russians, best goalie in the world, best players in the world, dominant. They rolled into the 80 Olympics, and they were the prohibitive favorite. The college and high school boys from the United States, they had no chance. They had a decent little team, but they would be lucky to even get to the medal round. As a matter of fact, the Olympics that year in 1980 were in Lake Placid, New York. That's where the Winter Olympics. So you had home turf advantage, but that's about all you had. Probably a month to 6 weeks before the Olympics, and this happens all the time, you play some exhibition games to kind of get ready. The Soviets came on over to the United States and stayed for a while, and they played a bunch of exhibition games. Matter of fact, they played the U.S. team. The two Olympic teams played, and this is common, 3 or 4 practice games, hockey, scattered around the country just to get ready for the Olympics. And the Soviet Union, as you would expect, they wiped the ice with the United States team. Just wiped the ice. They beat them bad, 9-2. It was men amongst boys. Well, the Olympics start, and the tournament gets going in hockey. And, of course, the big bad Russians, they win. They make it to the semifinals. And here are the United States. They win, fight their way. They make it to the semifinals. The great Al Michaels, very young on the time, was on the call. And keep in mind, there was not a lot of sports on TV. The whole country was riveted. Can our little young boys even stay on the ice with these grown men, these professionals? So the game gets going. It's the semifinal, and keep that in mind, okay? It's not the gold medal game, okay? It's to get to the gold medal game. Finland has already won, and they're sitting in the gold. But it was and you had the Cold War going on around the world. There's a lot of stuff going on. Damn if the American boys didn't beat them 4-3. And one of the iconic calls of all time in any sport is the last 10 seconds. Al Michaels, 10, 9, do you believe in miracles? 3, 2, boom. They win the game. The place goes bonkers. The country goes bonkers. Huge upset. Well, that brings us to this date in sports history. And if today's game back in 80 had gone different, could have been the greatest buzzkill, because when the United States beat them, that was not for the gold medal. A lot of people think it was for the gold. Nope. 2 nights later, the United States had to go beat Finland in the gold medal game, and Finland was damn good. Can you imagine if the United States had lost the gold medal game after beating the Soviets 2 nights?
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a buzzkill, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Oh, you got to go watch. Hey, one night when you're not doing anything, look it up.
I definitely will. I was looking at it now.
Good movie, and it's pretty close. It's a pretty good movie. A lot of sports movies they look hokey. The actors don't play the sports very well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's hard to watch a movie about the great Babe Ruth when the lead actor playing Babe Ruth can barely swing a bat.
Yeah, because a lot of these actors grew up acting and not playing sports.
Absolutely.
So they don't know playing sports.
And I don't know if it's called Do You Believe in Miracles or Miracle on Ice but yeah, look it up. Kurt Russell was the star, and he gives one of the great speeches of all time that the head coach gave. Herb Brooks was the actual head coach, and they say this is pretty close, but the speech in the movie, maybe during the break you can grab it. We can play it on the way back. All right, we're off and running. We'll hear from Patrick Young, I think, here in hour number 2. Brent Beard about 5:30. A lot to get to. SEC basketball from the weekend. We'll take a look at what happened. We'll take a look at the midweek schedule and the weekend schedule. 2 weeks to go. Selection Sunday for March Madness comes up March 16th. We are just about in what I think is the best sporting event in our country by a mile. I love postseason basketball, including the conference tournaments, which start a week before then. We'll talk a lot of basketball. Come back, take your questions, comments, thoughts on the chat line. If you've got anything, feel free to chat us up. Ben Dobbins producing. I'm Terry Norvelle. Stay with us right here on the Young and Norvelle Show, coming back on Action Sports Jax.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jax Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jax Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jax Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device, you're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Boy, I love me some March Madness time of year, especially when our team's in the area, and only really one of them, unless UNF and or JU was to do something crazy. Florida is deep in March Madness. I mean, it would be right now as we welcome you back to the Young and Norvelle Show here on Action Sports. Jags, Terry Norvelle here. It would be a real – Florida almost has to make it to the second weekend, or it would be a real disappointment. Interesting today, the new rankings come out, and the Gators drop a spot. Duke jumped back ahead of Florida. Now, Duke did have a good week and a really nice win over Illinois. They won in Madison Square Garden, I believe that game was on Saturday. Duke won by like 40 points over Illinois. Illinois is not a great team this year. Florida trailed LSU in the first half, but won going away. A little surprised that Duke jumped Florida again. So the Gators are sitting third in both polls. Duke has jumped up. Again, in college basketball especially, really doesn't matter. I mean, you've got a full-on tournament. It's not just a one-and-done tournament. You got to win 6 games. But for a program like Florida, a basketball program like Florida, the Gators, do they have almost great tradition? Yes. Florida's won 2 national titles. Florida's been to the Final Four, 5 times? The Gators have been to about 8 or 9 Elite Eights. I mean, they have a real nice resume, but the Gators in basketball are clearly not one of your historic blue blood programs, okay? And Ben, you know what I mean by that. That's Duke and Kentucky and during a bunch of years, Indiana and UCLA and right? A true blue blood program. Florida is not. With that said, your rankings really don't matter. Get into the tournament and go win it or go win games. That's what really matters. But for a program trying to get legitimacy and trying to grab national excitement and publicity, I think it's big for Florida. Being ranked second was a big deal for a week or two. If Florida could be ranked number 1 at some point before the season, I think that's big. And Ben, I'm almost positive, I think it's been announced officially, ESPN College Basketball Game Day will be in Gainesville Saturday. I'm almost positive that's a done deal. The whispers have started coming out like last Friday and Saturday. I think it has been announced. That's a big deal. That is a big deal for Florida Gator basketball. When you have the national boys from ESPN, Reese and the boys will be in Gainesville, it's a big deal. That is, maybe it's not a big deal for the Kentuckys of the world or the Dukes of the world. Well, they've had ESPN Game Day college basketball on their campus a million times. They're blue bloods. Florida's trying to become a consistent basketball blue blood. I think it's a big deal. I think it's a real big deal. I would imagine Billy Napier will pop on there at some point and talk a little Gator football. The Rowdy Reptiles, and Ben, I don't know how much you have ever watched Gator basketball. Florida's got a real good student section. The Gators, they call it the Rowdy Reptiles. They get in early and they raise hell. They're a good student section. They'll all be there that morning. And what is it, an hour? I can't remember. It's college. Obviously, ESPN football game day is like 3 hours. Basketball, I think, is only maybe 2, maybe a 1 hour, definitely at least an hour. But Florida will put on a good show. The only thing I can't stand about game day this Saturday, and I think it is in Gainesville. Can you check that, Ben? don't know if there's a way to check
Yeah,
that.
it is.
It's definitely in Gainesville,
Yes.
right? I knew it was. It had been announced, but hadn't been officially announced as of last, Thursday, Friday. But that's a bit. Florida will put on a good show. The Rowdy Reptiles will be there in the morning. The only thing I don't like, and this is just a timing thing, that show ends at noon on Saturday, right? ESPN Game Day, National College Game Day show, great publicity. Florida plays a top 10 matchup with Texas A&M that night, but the game tips off at 8:30. Don't you hate that? Yeah, you've got all this excitement, the crowd, the live TV. You invite everybody into they'll do the half-court shot. All the big boys, Jay Williams, Jay Billis, Reese Davis, they'll all be there. And then at noon, all right, guys, we'll take off. Don't forget, later tonight at 8:30, Florida. I hate that, Ben.
Yeah, it's like an hour. Like it's an hour for that. You're gonna be partying because the students are gonna be partying, and then you have to wait 8 hours for a game. That's a lot.
A lot of times game day times out where the noon game is the on-site game, and that's real nice.
That's what it should be. Yeah,
I think that's real nice. But but I'll take that. But do you see where I'm going? A program like Florida being ranked 1 or 2 during the regular season, that doesn't matter really to Kentucky or Duke. That matters to when you're trying to build legitimacy and tell the rest of the country, hey, man, we play basketball. I think having game day in Gainesville is a big deal. I think that's a big deal for Florida.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Gators definitely have years where they're good and years where they're bad.
Yeah.
They just want to stay consistent
Yeah.
and make March Madness every year. And
I also told Patrick, I don't think we might have been on air the other day when I told him this, and I mean this sincerely, and Pat should be on here in hour number 2 with us. But if Florida gets anywhere near the Final Four this year, Patrick Young's phone's going to ring off the hook. He was part of the last team at Florida to get to the Final Four. That, 2014 team, whenever it was?
Was that when Chris Chioza hit like the thing about against Michigan, or is that?
That was a great pull. That was more. I think that was against Wisconsin, and that got him to the Elite Eight. I think, but no, that was I think that was a Sweet 16. He hit that running bomb.
I just remember that. I was so happy because that's when I was watching Gator basketball, and I was so happy. I didn't remember exactly.
I think that was in Madison Square Garden too. That Sweet 16. I think it was. I think it was against Wisconsin.
I think you are right.
And that got them to the Elite Eight, and I think they lost the next game to get to the Final Four to South Carolina. It was an SEC versus SEC. South Carolina had a real good guard. It was a good college player, scored a lot of points. That was exciting, there wasn't it? I think Florida had to come back late in that game, too.
Yeah, it was a good game, if I remember.
Hell of a game.
They hit so many threes. Yeah, it was to defeat Wisconsin.
Yeah. Was that a Sweet 16 game, did it say?
Yep, Sweet 16, 84-83 to advance to the Elite Eight.
And that was at the buzzer, right? The ball was in the air.
Yeah.
The ball was in the air and the buzzer went off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell of a game. And that was that period. Remember that period?
2017.
That was that period, 4 or 5 years. Wisconsin was real good. I think they made a championship game. Duke might have beat them one year in the final game. Frank Kaminsky and those guys. Wisconsin had a good run. Had a real good run. Chioza was a fun college player.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think he's played in the G League here and there, but he was a good college guard, wasn't he?
Yeah, I remember he was with the Nets, I think, at one point.
A little bit. A little cup of coffee here and there. 10-day call-up kind of thing.
Yep.
Awfully small guy.
Yeah, but really good at college basketball.
Yeah, really good college basketball player.
Yeah, they lost to South Carolina in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, the next game. And
by 7.
By the way, I predict some of that's going to happen this year. I just think from just a math standpoint, there's going to be so many teams from the SEC, particularly starting weekend number 2, that make it through the first weekend. There's going to be so many teams still alive, you can't help but play each other.
It's going to be probably a decent amount of upsets this year just because everyone's decent enough. Yeah, especially the SEC is definitely
really good.
What
I'm going to say here is not a big, whoa, Terry, you're out on a limb here, because I'm going to list you about 7 teams. But I think we pretty much know the pool of teams that the national championship is going to come out of. You're going to have, and I'm going to call it the SEC, and we'll get back to who those are. But your national champion is going to come out of the SEC or Houston, Duke or Iowa State, I think. Now, when I say the SEC, Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, maybe, even though they lost the other day, Texas A&M can grind you. But I would be very confident if you said, Terry, you got 6 picks. Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Duke, Houston, Iowa State. Your national title is in there somewhere.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't watch much college basketball, but definitely like the top 4 teams. I mean, Tennessee's there, but
yeah, Tennessee, I still think they're better than they've played. They had a nice win Saturday. They've got a better team. It hasn't worked to their standards. Now, they're 5th in the country, I think. So how can you say it hasn't worked? But they thought, I mean, they were 14-0, ranked number 1 in the nation, and they proceeded to lose 5 of their next, 11 or so. Yeah, they're still good though.
Tennessee has a little spot in my heart because I know Chaz Lanier went to UNF.
Yep.
So definitely a little place.
He had 30 Saturday, in case you were wondering. Couldn't miss. Had a great game, and they had a nice win. They won. They beat Texas A&M. It was a hell of a game. That was top 10 versus top 10. And how about UNF beating my Dolphins twice this year?
Yeah, I know. They have their number. I know they had one game where UNF was up by a lot, and then JU came back. Yeah. And then UNF pulled away.
And I'll tell you another thing that really hurt my feelings. UNF now leads the all-time series in basketball. And that hurts now because not that JU has any recent March Madness history, but JU has history in basketball. You know, JU went to the championship game one year. Did you know that? Oh. They lost to UCLA in the final game.
Really?
Went all the way to the now we're talking 69-70. The great Artis Gilmore, one of his 2 years there. But UNF has. Do you remember when UNF made the play-in game?
I know they made in 2016. I think
it was 16
bracket. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. And the ASUN, the conference they play in with JU, it's a 1-bid league. You got to get in. You got to win your conference tournament. That's the automatic bid. You're not going to get an at-large bid out of there. It's a 1-bid league. There's no rule that says it, but they're never going to get an at-large bid in addition, right?
No, because if you have a good team in there, they're going to win the conference anyways.
Yes. So UNF won it one year and got in. They played the play-in game, and I can't remember who they played. They represented. They didn't get beat bad, but they were like one of only 2 games on that Tuesday night.
Yeah, so a lot of people watched it. Probably.
You get great press. Can you look up who? I can't remember who they lost to. UNF in the play-in game, and was it 16? See if you can find out if it was 16.
It might have been 2015.
15, 16.
16,
It's been a while now. But that was an exciting time around here. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, it definitely would have been.
And I think JU, I was in. JU's last trip to March Madness was like in '86, and I mean they made it as a regular, got in.
They lost to Robert Morris.
Robert Morris beat them
by 4
in the play-in game.
Yep, 77-81.
UNF, and if you got a second, look up JU last March Madness. I think they lost to Temple in their first game in like '86, '87. That's the last time. But JU went they got a bid. I think they didn't. I don't think they won their conference tournament. They just They were good. They were really good back then. Really, Bob Wenzel, I think, was their coach back then. And the Dolphins were good. I think their last trip was
1986.
86. They lost to Temple maybe in the first round.
Temple, yep, good job. 50-61 in overtime.
What was the score?
50-61 in overtime.
Yeah, wow, overtime. It double digit, but I mean it was close. I remember listening to it, and I was at baseball practice. I remember listening to it, and hell of obviously went overtime, and that was there. And Temple was good back then. They had legendary John Chaney, and Temple right around that period. They had a Final Four team, Mark Macon and some of those guys. So there you go. It'd be cool. And I don't know if you know how the ASUN works now, but JU, I think, is tied for like 3rd, and they've got like 2 games left. And UNF is like tied for 5th. They're a couple games behind JU, even though they've beat them. You know how the ASUN works? They don't show up at a tournament site and play their tournament. Their tournament is played at home teams' courts. Higher seed gets a home, which is a nice advantage.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, JU and UNF, unless there's a couple upsets, they would have to travel to win it all. But how nice would that be if you're playing on your home court, win and go to March Madness?
Oh, yeah, that would be so electric. I mean,
yeah,
UNF's definitely not going to be able to do it this year because they're so far behind. They're not going to
yeah.
have a home
but
game. But
you just want to get unless there's upsets.
yeah, well, it's weird because I think we're too far behind even with that because I think we only have 2 games left. But
Yeah,
it's weird because the team before you, who you're going to be playing, plays on your court. So, like, remember last year, I think 2 teams played on Stetson's court or something like that.
yeah. How weird is that?
Yeah, having 2 teams, like,
Yeah.
do the teams travel? Like,
Yeah,
must not
yeah.
have
I think I if I'm piecing this together, I think what you said is right because you can't ask a team to jump on a plane that night.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you almost have to play a couple games on the same court because the 2 winners, if the higher team wins, you got to play there no matter what, whoever wins, right? You can't say, hey, you guys, y'all played Thursday in Jacksonville. The 2 teams that win, you can't say, hey, show up in Lipscomb 48 hours later. That wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, I think in the next day, to be honest.
It might be. And I think what you said is right. There's situations where the home team could not advance. So you've got 2 foreign teams playing on, right? I think that could happen, right?
I don't know. Let me check if the next game was on.
I think that can happen, though.
You might be right, yeah. I don't know how.
Because you can't quickly say, hey, by the way, instead of playing tomorrow night on UNF's court, you got to fly to North Alabama because UNF didn't win. I think UNF or JU, for instance, would have to host a game on their court even if they got knocked out, which would stink. Oh, that would really – we can look into that. Let's take another break real quick, reset. We'll look into that. I think that's how that ASUN works because all the games, they don't meet. They used to meet in matter of fact, when I called games for JU, the conference tournament was at Mercer almost every year. They had a real nice facility. Mercer's out of the conference now. But you'd meet like a normal – you know how the SEC meets in Nashville? Everybody shows up in Nashville, and they play. The ASUN got away from that. They play on higher seed home courts. We'll try to look into that and give you some answers on the other side. We'll get back, talk some more college ball that time of year. The Young and Norvelle Show continues right here on Action Sports Jax.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jax Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jax Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jax Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
All right, Big Ben Dobbins, you ready for a boss move in the world of sports way back in the 50s? You ready? Ben, you ready for a good story?
Yep.
Good story. Boss move back in the 50s. It happened about this time of year is why I'm bringing it up, and I ran across it back in 1952. Okay, Ben, we're going in the Wayback Machine, okay? Tell me this wasn't a boss move. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Got to tell the story. Okay, the year is 1952. The St. Louis Cardinal baseball team is owned by August Busch. You'll know the name, August Busch. He is tired of his team, the Cardinals, playing in Sportsman's Park. That's the name of their stadium, right? Their Major League Baseball stadium in St. Louis at the time was called Sportsman's Park, okay? So he wants a name change. Okay, no big deal, right? No big deal. So he decides that he is going to do a bit of cross-promotion, this true story now, with the other little company he owns by the name of Anheuser-Busch. Okay, you may have heard of those guys, right? Okay. So August Busch wants to promote his best-selling line, Budweiser. He messages the MLB commissioner's office to say that the Cardinals will now be playing in Budweiser Stadium. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Pretty good business savvy idea, right? Hey, I want to name the stadium after one of my products, Budweiser. Okay. But this was 1952. The commissioner's office of Major League Baseball did not want to promote alcohol at that level.
Really?
True story. The commissioner's office said that the name would not stand. They cite a rule stating that teams cannot name things after alcohol way back then.
That's weird.
Okay? That's the rules, though, right? So August Busch was pissed, as you can imagine. Guys at that level don't like to be told no very often, right? And he had a pretty good idea. Why not go ahead and help promote my blah, blah, blah. It goes hand in hand, right? So get this. Here's where the boss move comes into play. He messaged the commissioner's office back saying that he would concede and decided to name it after himself. Thus, Busch Stadium. The commissioner's office agreed, and Gussie set his plan into motion. Gussie Busch, that was his nickname, for the 1953 season. Fast forward 2 more years. Gussie has been working on his plan for 2 years, and in 1955, he decided that the recipe was ready. Gussie Busch, with the knowledge of Major League Baseball, already okayed Busch Stadium. That's his last name, okay? Because he said, hey, by the way, I kind of want to name it after myself. You won't let me do Budweiser. I'm going to name it after my last name is Busch. Of course, they already agreed Busch Stadium is okay. It's after your name. Well, in 55, he then, because he was planning this, releases a new line of beer called Busch Beer. Yeah. Right. Is that, boss? The MLB was pissed. The commissioner's office sent him a message. Gussie's response to the message was, well, you said I couldn't name my stadium after a beer. You didn't say I couldn't name my beer after a stadium. The Busch Stadium name is stuck for the last 73 years as the current naming rights expire in 2026. That is a boss move right there.
Yeah. Commissioner's probably not happy because, like you said, people at that high
they don't like to be
they
told.
don't like being told no.
Can you? What a great idea, though. Yeah. And he thought it through. And all right, hey, okay. You know, you're right. You know, there is some bylaws that say we can't use alcohol. I get it. It's in the bylaws. I'm an owner. I own a team in this league. We agreed to the bylaws. I get it. I cannot name my stadium Budweiser Stadium. I get it. So he goes to his beer people and says, let's design a line of beer, Busch Beer.
That's weird, though.
Isn't that great?
Not being able to name your stadium after a beer. I feel like in those times, back then, I feel like that's kind of normal, right?
You know, tobacco advertising is still not allowed on television.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's going to change soon.
Really?
It's been around since the early 70s. And, you know, Congress got involved and big lawsuits and all. And, you know, I think the big sticking point was the people that didn't want it. Some of the Congress, you know, they make it habit forming. The nicotine is habit forming, and then you're hooked on it, and then it can kill you. But no, have you ever noticed that? You don't see cigarette ads.
Yeah, they don't do that.
I think, by the way, with alcohol being prevalent in sports and television now, and with gambling.
Yeah, gambling.
I think at some point, not too far in the future, big tobacco is going to make a run at this thing and go, hey, come on, this is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why are we singled out now? You know, you got cannabis, you got alcohol, you've got gambling, which, I mean, gambling was more taboo than anything in sports for decades. I mean, that was you may as well have slapped somebody's mom in the face before you said the word gambling, right?
Yeah.
I would imagine big, and I don't, you know, I'm not a smoker, never have been. I think it's kind of gross. I'm not a dip guy, even though I played baseball. I don't care for any of that. But you really wonder, from a commonsensical standpoint, I don't know, where do you stand? I mean, should tobacco still be segregated? Is that any worse than?
I mean, all of this stuff is really bad for you.
I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Even gambling, I know it's not like physically bad for you.
I
but
agree.
It's bad for
you can make that. You can make that argument.
Yeah, but at the same time, if they're doing it, then I mean, tobacco's
and then you know, the other bigger angle is, why should big government tell me? You know,
exactly.
hey, I can, if I want to do something. And by the way, like it or not, gambling, tobacco, and alcohol are legal.
Yeah.
You know, even the cannabis that's advertised is the legal. So, you know, the other big argument is, well, how the hell does the government have the right to tell me, you know?
And then they can't advertise, but everyone else can. That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, and you wonder. You wonder how much longer before big tobacco, hell, I mean, gosh, you hate to say it now, but if you're one of these industries, if you can write a big enough check, man, right? I mean, why do you think – I'm being serious. The NFL, singling them out for a moment, the NFL for the last 3 or 4 decades, man, I mean, and the NCAA as well, the word gambling was the kryptonite. Because they knew if gambling got pervasive, then the thought of illegal gambling and fixing games and stuff. So, I mean, that was the taboo of all taboo. But you know what finally happened?
Yeah, now
the check got big enough.
Yep.
The check and the guarantee of multiple checks continuing got so big, the NFL, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, they're showing it a lot. Like, when you're watching Red Zone, they have, like, everything. I mean, they show, like, the odds and stuff of
and I mean,
touchdowns.
And God bless the NFL. I mean, it's not like they can come back and go, well, you know what? The gambling industry, they worked it out and they cleaned it up. No. The only reason is the checks are big enough.
It's the same thing. You're gambling your
The checks are big enough, and the NFL said we can't say no anymore.
Yeah.
It's just we're in the money business, right?
Yep.
And these guys will write checks, and they'll write checks, and they'll write, and they said fine. They said fine, but yeah, it is, and the tobacco thing also. And this even really predates me, as old as I know you can't believe there's anybody older than me, but it was ironic too that in the early 70s this tobacco advertising got prohibited. You can't do it anymore. When you factor in how married movies, movie stars, TV shows, entertainment, and the cigarette were. The cigarette in the entire birth of television, the cigarette smoking was sexy, and you were cutting edge, and you were cool, and you were powerful, and you were the beautiful, the leading ladies, Betty Davis and Greta Garbo and all. They had heaters, they had darts, and Clark Gable, and it's funny how it turned so quick.
Yeah, it was all in movies and everything.
Oh, man, it was just understood. Every scene, they were, the leading lady and the leading man were in the living room talking, and they're both heating it up, man.
Yep. Now you're not allowed to have it on movies, right?
Not too much.
Fake ones.
Yeah, it's tough. I would think big tobacco will find its way into big sports advertising in the not-too-distant future.
Yeah.
The checks, and Lord knows, I mean, does anybody have more money than big tobacco? I mean, big tobacco, big pharma.
It's probably getting less now, I would imagine.
Little bit, but
stuff,
I think they're probably dabbling in the new smoke things, and
probably.
Interesting. All right, man, let's take a break. One down, one to go. We've got Brett Beard and we think Patrick Young both coming up in the second hour. Stay with us right here. A lot to get to. I promise. Let's look at the SEC basketball standings. Going to be a hell of a final 2 weeks. Auburn, Alabama, and Florida, unless a dark horse comes down the backstretch. It looks like we've got Florida, Alabama, and Auburn in a 2-week just kind of round robin. Going to be fun to see who wins the coveted SEC regular season basketball title, which I think will come with a #1 overall seed in March Madness. We'll talk about that on the other side. Young and Norvelle, Action Sports Jack. Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. That hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jax to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jax in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jax 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jax 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%. You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer. You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
All right, the big news as we welcome you back to the Young and Norvelle Show here on Action Sports Jax. Big news is James Gladstone introduced to the media, to the community today. Pretty standard. I listen here and there during the live press conference. Pretty standard. You know, these things aren't going to wow you. Kind of, hey, going to hit the ground running. Got a lot of work to do. Ben, am I kind of summing it up? Kind of the standard. Got a lot of work to do. Time to hit the ground running. Combines going on.
Yeah, you don't get much from them. Like you always say. I mean, they don't say much. They never say what they're gonna do with the team. And
but it was
like
nice to see the young looking guy. I mean, he's 34 years old. Looks 34.
Yeah,
not a day over 34. I would imagine he's probably on a plane right now. Wouldn't you think? That press conference was midday. Oh gosh, what was that? Around noon, obviously. Yeah. And I would imagine he's probably jumped on a plane, a charter plane, probably, and heading to Indianapolis. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely scouting people.
Yeah, certainly. And the combine, in essence, starts today, the 24th, I think, through March 3rd, which is next Monday, I believe it is. Yeah, Saturday's the 1st, by the way. Wow. But I think these first couple of days are reserved for the interviews. I think that's how it goes. They schedule a bunch of interviews all day for a day or two, and I may be wrong, but I don't think they're on the field, physical. And they do the weigh-ins and all that stuff, and probably the weight work. But I don't think there's a whole lot going on the field today and tomorrow.
No, I think Thursday is when that on-field workout starts. So I got the schedule here.
Okay, what do you got?
So Sunday is when they arrive. Okay. Monday, that's when place kickers and everyone arrives.
Yeah.
And then
that's today.
Yep. DBs, tight ends arrive today.
Yeah. So if you're the teams, you got in Sunday probably. You got settled in your hotel. You got with agents and set times for guys to come by. You got your interview space. You imagine there's 32 teams. Yep. 32 teams that want to interview. Go ahead. So place kickers and stuff get in today. Tomorrow start working out. Go ahead.
Today is when DBs and tight ends arrive.
Check in.
Yep. Running backs, QBs arrive on Tuesday, and then O-line arrives on Wednesday.
Okay.
And then everyone has like each day after they arrive, they do interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the on-field workouts start Thursday for place kickers, D-line, and O-line. On-field workout, and then it's just a day after everyone arrives. So like, since place kickers, D-line arrives first, they start their on-field workout first.
Yeah, so they'll get physical, if you will, in a couple days.
Yep, on Thursday. That's when it starts.
In a couple days, and really get going. And it's still, I guess, I don't pay a lot of attention to the combine. It's easy to follow because it gets so much coverage. But the 40-yard dash and the bench press, the 225 bench press, those are still the marquee events, right?
Yeah, 100%. Bench press for D-line and linebacker is Friday, and then the last bench press is Monday for O-line.
It's always and do they still do the Wonderlic test? I think they finally threw that out.
I don't know. I think about this.
You know, you've heard of that, the Wonderlic test. I think they finally threw that out. There was enough people. The scores would leak out, and invariably, it's great. I think the Wonderlic test, a perfect score is 50. It's great if you're 45, 46, 47 leaks out, but it'd be the other way around. You'd get some guys that scored 7. And, you know, the agents are like, hey, we don't want this.
Yeah.
You know?
And it never really made it. Because I know Lamar Jackson had a bad one, but look at him. I mean, he looked good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's been discontinued.
The other fun thing, and I never thought I'd say this about men in their underwear, but the other fun thing that happens from these combines every year, you always will, and it'll be generally down the road once these quarterbacks establish themselves and become stars. It's always fun to see. They'll show like 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady, and they'll show his photo. You know how they'll weigh you, you know, in your jockey shorts and barefoot. You know, they want to know exactly how tall you are, exactly how much you weigh. Guys like Tom Brady are not exactly physical specimens, and that shot will come out, and he's got 7 Super Bowl rings, but he looks like he's never seen a weight room.
I've probably seen that picture of him at the combine so many times.
Yes.
Just him shirtless.
Yes. And, you know, the picture it's trying to describe is 7-time Super Bowl winner, and your gardener's built stronger than him, you know? But the 40s, too, are fun. Somebody will blaze a 40. And then some quote-unquote, skill position player will run a terrible time. And that always makes the news, too. You know how there'll be somebody that runs 4.28, and then there'll be a skill position, quote-unquote, guy that runs a 4.75. The thing about that 40, though, to me, Ben, is everybody's not a good takeoff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you almost need to track the 40 30 yards and start it at the 10 when everybody's got a running start, right?
Yeah.
Because what if I could be way faster than you, but if I don't get a good jump, right? If you jump me good, you're a good starter, you're probably going to beat me.
Yeah, but they definitely have other measurements of stuff. Like there's 40-yard dash is different from on the field speed, obviously.
I agree.
100%. But
and then isn't it ironic that none of the 40-yard dash, you're not wearing anything that you wear during a game?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I've often wondered, and ask me if I'm correct, I've never really asked a hardcore football guy this question. Why would in baseball, pitchers, they use guns and have used guns to measure velocity for decades, right? Mm-hmm. And they use that. And what's your first, what do you conjure up in your mind when you think a bunch of scouts at a high school or college game scouting a player? You say, you picture in your mind 10 guys behind home plate with guns pointed at the pitcher, right? Radar guns. Yeah. I've often wondered, why wouldn't the radar gun have made its place in football in terms of quarterback throwing the football?
I mean, I know they do a test of like the throwing power test.
For years, it's just been the naked eye. And now the standard play that they like to run when they work quarterbacks out is that 17-yard out from the far hash. It's a 17-yard out. Everybody runs it from the right hash, the receiver. The quarterback's throwing it from the left hash. So that is a long diagonal. They use that for arm strength a lot, but they do it a lot of times why would they not have used guns over the years and said, man, Peyton Manning hit, 60 miles an hour. This other guy's never topped out past. Why would they not have used guns to test quarterback arm strength?
I don't know, because I know they do like the velocity test, like the test of how fast you could throw it.
Like at the fair, like you do at the fair.
Yeah, but like kind of.
Just kidding.
I mean, it's kind of like it.
Yeah.
Because I know I don't remember who, but some quarterback just now, Joe Milton.
Yeah.
Had a really fast.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, that's a relatively new phenomenon. Using any type of gun on football quarterbacks, relatively new. I've often wondered, why wouldn't they, during a scrimmage, put a gun on a guy? During a workout, put a gun and say, man, the metrics say he's got a strong arm or he doesn't have a strong arm. Instead of, for years, it was just the naked eye. You go, man, he's got a big arm. Or, I don't know, he's got kind of a pop gun arm. Yep. I've always wondered that. Always. And, baseball wouldn't go anywhere without their guns.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's standard fare.
Exactly. It's like you have, that's a huge part of baseball is how fast
you're
going.
Yeah, and then even during the games, even at the major league level, you'll see major league teams with their own guys, their own pitchers that aren't going to pitch for 4 days. They're behind home plate shooting their own guy, reporting it to this, hey, our guy's losing some velocity. We might want to get the bullpen up. Interesting. I've always wondered about that. Let's take a look real quick at what happened over the weekend, particularly in the SEC, who made moves basketball-wise. We hope to talk to Patrick Young in a little bit, and then Brent Beard around 5:30. Good standard, solid win for Auburn. Auburn was at home Saturday playing a desperate Georgia team. Auburn didn't look good in the first half. They only scored 29 points. They held Georgia to 24, but Auburn goes for 53 in the second half. They win going away. They beat Georgia. The Dogs tomorrow, maybe their last chance to get in March Madness. They need one big win. They only have one ranked team to play, and that's Florida tomorrow in Athens. Probably their last stand. The Dogs, they might be in a must-win to get in unless they do something crazy. Is that Patrick?
Yes.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good. I've been here for the last 10 minutes. You're not going to invite me in?
Oh, I didn't know, and Ben didn't know.
No, you're not going to invite your boy in?
Welcome in, Patrick Young.
Ouch.
Hey,
Ouch.
What'd you think? We were just getting into it. Auburn, ugly first half. Then they put up 53. They've really put Georgia in a big spot now. Georgia almost has to upset Florida tomorrow.
I think they have to. That's their only. If they don't, it's over. I think
it is.
I don't even think the next option would be to win the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
Or at least to make it to the championship game. But I don't know what happened, man. Like they were so close and they had a really good start.
Yeah.
And now they're just like they've imploded.
Alabama. I watched a lot of the Alabama-Kentucky game. I think that was opposite Florida. I watched a lot of that game. I thought Kentucky was going to put up a better fight. Alabama kind of controlled that game, and Alabama needed to have a game like that.
Kentucky still hasn't been at full strength in a while,
yeah,
man. They're missing Jackson. And then the kid, he had a terrible game. Owe?
Yeah, fine.
Man, he was two points. And he's their leading scorer. He's great. He's one of my favorite. Him and the kid Amari Williams, they're my favorite players to watch on Kentucky. Those guys are really good.
But Owe, man, I couldn't believe the
Alabama took care of business, man.
Yeah,
I missed a lot of games, Terry. I was on a date.
What?
Yeah.
What kind of a date?
What do you mean?
What kind of a date? You go to the zoo?
What do you mean? What kind of dates are there?
Did you go to the zoo? Where'd you go?
No, we went to Bellwether.
What is that? Restaurant?
It's a restaurant downtown. It's pretty good.
Nice. All right. Well, I'll tell you about what happened.
I had a coconut margarita.
Pretty good. Like it.
Yeah, man.
I like it. I'll tell you what happened then. Really, really good game. The score is not indicative. Tennessee and Texas A&M threw haymakers, man. That was a good game. Tennessee with a big win on the road. The Vols needed that, man.
Chaz Lanier, man, he showed up, didn't he?
30.
8 3-pointers.
30
and 8 3-pointers.
Played really good. And had a nasty left-handed dunk on somebody. Oh,
he did?
Yeah.
That's the best game he's had all season.
Really was.
A&M, man. I just don't like Wade Taylor's game, man. I just can't get over it. I thought he would just find other ways to impact the game. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he's so good. I feel like he hurts the team more than he helps them.
Has he regressed?
You know?
I remember watching him 2 years ago. He was unbelievable. Has he regressed?
I think he tries he tries too hard.
Maybe.
I think that's what's made it. I don't think he lets the game come to him like he did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's still great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But, man, he was almost unguardable there a couple years ago when he was totally healthy. Gosh, he was tough. He was tough. I'll tell you who had there are a couple other games that really stood out Saturday in the SEC. What a good win for Arkansas. They were down 7 at the half and scored 51 in the second half. They beat Missouri, who was riding high. That might have got Arkansas in the tournament.
Yeah, they definitely moved up. You know, Missouri, no team has ever gotten to 10 wins after going 0 in their conference, and Missouri's going to be the first team to do that. They're going to get 10 wins for sure. Arkansas ruined their chances of doing that, but man, that Missouri team is really good.
They are.
You know what bothers me, Terry? I just hate when people are like, "Do you think Florida's going to make it to the final?" I was like, "They're a Final Four team." I hope they make it. Who cares what I think? It's like, come on, be real. You really think they can't? Freaking 9 seed UConn won a championship. So, Sure. Missouri could definitely get hot as well as they shoot and play, and they can make it to the Final Four.
They really could. They would be. Missouri would be one of those good. If you were told you can't get a 1 or a 2 seed to pick it to win it all, who would you dark horse? Missouri could be one of those 3 seeds, 4 seeds that I would think. Yeah.
Depending on where Houston's at, they'd be in my mix.
I agree. I think they could win it all too. I don't necessarily.
I feel bad, man. The coach Kelvin Sampson, him and Mark Few, and is there another guy? Like, they've been so close so many years.
Oh man,
they just can't get a championship.
Yeah. I wouldn't buy a used car from Kelvin Sampson. I think he's a little drippy, but he can coach basketball. He's a good game day coach, that Kelvin Sampson. I don't necessarily like him a lot, but, man, he can coach. Vanderbilt might have went ahead and punched their ticket with a 77-72 win at home over Ole Miss.
Oh.
And what about a damaging loss for Texas? Texas loses to South Carolina and got blown out.
Oh, they were getting their butts kicked.
Woo.
They weren't losing.
Yeah.
Carolina was kicking their butts.
Yeah.
Happy for them to get their first win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Texas, they're not good. They don't have, I think, Kaluma. I think he's still hurt and out. The freshman Trey Johnson, he's unbelievable.
He's a nice
player. You wish those special freshmen like that would choose a program that's, not gonna say guaranteed you're gonna make the tournament, but like who was it? Simmons, Ben Simmons, he was at LSU. And then the other kid, he's with Michael Porter Jr. He was at Missouri.
Yeah.
Those schools, and they had no postseason.
Yeah.
Those studs.
How about your boy at Texas, Trey Johnson? All he does, he went for 29, and that wasn't good enough. They still lose 84-69.
I know.
That was a damaging loss for Texas. Oh.
Yeah.
Damaging. Hey, I know this doesn't matter.
I wonder if that seat's starting to warm up for Rodney Terry.
Might be. It might be. And if you're a big time Texas guy, you may be sitting around. If you're a power broker, you may be saying, "Hey man, we're in the big boy league now. We better go find a big time coach too for men's basketball."
Not only Texas, that's what Oklahoma's going to have to do. Porter Moser is not it.
Yeah, they had a win, but I agree. I don't think he's the right guy. Hey, Pat, go ahead.
How about my boy? I didn't see the game. Ruben Chinyelu, 19 points, game high, career high. Look at him.
Had a great game.
13 rebounds.
Had a great game. And Florida, they fell asleep in the first half. They gave up a 22-2 run. I never thought they were going to lose that game. They were just Florida, man. They go to the locker room. They don't panic. they come out and just blitzed LSU. Just blitzed them. Everybody played well. Thomas, everybody played well. They're good, man. Florida is
they're good. Like that LSU team, they're better than their record. They just